Off the top, it's time for the video to drop, and today, I went back to WWE 2K22 and simulated to current day. It is May 2021 and our current champions are as follows. The WWE champion is Bobby Lashley, Freak Bobby if you nasty. Sheamus is our United States champion. AJ Styles and Omos are our Raw tag champions. Rhea Ripley is our Raw women's champion, and Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax are our women's tag champions. Karrion Kross is the NXT champion. Johnny Gargano is the North American champion. Imperium is the tag champions, even though it should be MSK, but you know, Nash Carter not in the game. We got Raquel Gonzalez as the NXT Women's Champion, Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon as the Women's Tag Team Champions, and Kushida as the Cruiserweight Champion. And on SmackDown, Roman Reigns is your Universal Champion. Apollo Crews is the Intercontinental Champion. The Dirty Dogs, Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler are your SmackDown Tag Champions. Bianca Belair is your SmackDown Women's Champion. And of course, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler are your Women's Tag Champions. We're at Money in the Bank, and Rhea Ripley has retained her title against Asuka. Bayley has defeated Carmella one-on-one. Apollo Crews defeated Happy Corbin to retain the Intercontinental Championship. AJ Styles and Omos retained the Raw tag titles in a huge four-way tag against the Street Profits, Miz and Morrison. Retribution. My goodness. The Dirty Dogs defeated RK Bro. Bianca Belair won the Women's Money in the Bank briefcase. Rey Mysterio defeated Big E. Roman Reigns defeated Drew McIntyre to retain the Universal Championship. Bobby Lashley defeated Brock Lesnar to retain the WWE Championship. And in the main event of the evening, Xavier Woods is Mr. Money in the Bank after defeating John Cena, Cesaro, Jey Uso, Sheamus, Eric, Jimmy Uso, and Humberto Carrillo. At NXT Takeover in your house, Ludwig Kaiser, aka in this game Marcel Bartel, and Fabian Eichner, aka Giovanni Vinci, defeated Fandango and Tyler Breeze to retain their tag team championships. Isaiah Swerve Scott defeats Johnny Gargano to become the North American champion. Skirt, skirt. Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart defeat Candice LeRae and Kaylee Ray. A lot of LeRays. Samoa Joe defeats Pete Dunne. Karrion Kross retains the NXT Championship by defeating Tommaso Ciampa. And in the main event of the evening, Io Shirai is your NXT Women's Champion after defeating Mandy Rose and Raquel Gonzalez. We're now at WrestleMania Backlash, and Brock Lesnar has defeated Seth Rollins. We have Jeff Hardy becoming the United States Champion as he defeats Sheamus. Damian Priest defeats Elias. Apollo Crews is still the Intercontinental Champion as he defeats Shinsuke Nakamura. Bayley has defeated Carmella. Xavier Woods is the Universal Champion. He defeats John Cena, so I'm assuming that John Cena defeated Roman Reigns or Xavier Woods cashed in on Roman Reigns. Oh my God. Becky Lynch is your new Raw Women's Champion, defeating Rhea Ripley. Bobby Lashley is still the WWE Champion as he defeats Rey Mysterio. And in the main event of the evening, the Dirty Dogs defeat RK Bro. The horror show at Extreme Rules starts off with Roman Reigns defeating Sheamus. Damian Priest defeats Elias. Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo defeat Eric and Ivar. Iconics defeat Rhea Ripley and Nikki ASH. AJ Styles and Omos are still the Raw Tag Champions as they defeat the Street Profits. Charlotte Flair defeats Naomi. Seth Rollins defeats Brock Lesnar. Rey Mysterio is the new WWE Champion as he defeats Bobby Lashley. And in the main event of the evening, Becky Lynch defeats Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship. We're kicking off SummerSlam with Jeff Hardy defending the United States Championship against Apollo Crews. Rhea Ripley and Nikki ASH have defeated the Iconics. Sonya Deville has defeated Carmella. Damian Priest defeats Elias. Fiend Balor defeats Kevin Owens. Bobby Lashley, Freak Bobby If You Nasty, defeats Rey Mysterio to win back the WWE Championship. Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo defeat Eric and Ivar. Sheamus defeats Roman Reigns. Xavier Woods defeats Drew McIntyre to retain the Universal Championship. And in the main event of the evening, Becky Lynch defeats Liv Morgan to retain the Raw Women's Championship. At NXT TakeOver 30, we kick things off with Samoa Joe defeating Pete Dunne. Santos Escobar becomes the new North American champion as he defeats Swerve. Skirt. In a triple threat tornado tag, Casey Catanzaro, and I don't even know who your partner was. Was it Candice LeRae? I'm assuming it was Candice LeRae. Defeated Ember Moon, Shotzi, Raquel, Dakota. Yeah, there's a lot of craziness happening in this one. Roderick Strong defeats Kushida to become the new Cruiserweight Champion. Io Shirai defeats Mandy Rose to retain the NXT Women's Championship. Walter becomes the new NXT champion. That's right, before Gunther, we had the Walter. And in the main event of the evening, Fabian Aichner and Marcel Bartel defeat Fandango and Tyler Breeze to retain the NXT tag titles. A good night for Imperium. Kicking off Payback, Finn Balor defeats Kevin Owens. Carmella defeats Sonya Deville. Jeff Hardy defeats Akira Tozawa to retain the United States Championship. Randy Orton and Matt Riddle defeat John Morrison and The Miz. Eric and Ivar defeat Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo. In a triple threat match for the Universal Championship, Drew McIntyre defeats Xavier Woods and John Cena to become the Universal Champion. Hey, but give it up for Xavier Woods' title run. Roman Reigns defeats Sheamus. Bobby Lashley defeats Rey Mysterio to retain the WWE Championship in a no-holds-barred match. And in the main event of the evening, Becky Lynch defeats Asuka to retain that Raw Women's Championship. Welcome to Clash of Champions, and we're kicking things off with the Dirty Dogs retaining the SmackDown Tag titles, defeating the Usos. Ain't nobody meaner than Tamina as Tamina defeats Tegan Nox. Mace and T-Bar knock off Omos and AJ Styles for the Raw Tag titles. Rhea Ripley and Nikki ASH defeat the Iconics. Akira Tozawa is your new United States Champion as he defeats Jeff Hardy. The Miz and John Morrison defeated Rated RK Bro. Finn Balor defeats Kevin Owens. Roman Reigns wins the Universal Championship back as he defeats Drew McIntyre one-on-one. And in the main event of the evening, Becky Lynch defeats Asuka in a last woman standing match. At NXT TakeOver 31, we kick things off with Io Shirai defeating Mandy Rose to retain her NXT Women's Championship. Candice LeRae and Kaylee Ray defeat Shotzi and Ember Moon. Kushida defeats the Brian Kendrick. Swerve Scott wins back the North American Championship as he defeats Santos Escobar. Tommaso Ciampa wins the NXT Championship as he defeats Walter. Samoa Joe defeats Pete Dunne. And in the main event of the evening, Fabian Aichner and Marcel Bartel defeat Fandango and Tyler Breeze. We kick off Hell in a Cell with Bayley defeating Charlotte Flair. Akira Tozawa defeats Jeff Hardy to retain his United States Championship in a Hell in a Cell match. Ain't nobody meaner than Tamina defeats Tegan Nox. Apollo Crews retains the Intercontinental Championship as he defeats Happy Corbin. Shotzi Blackheart defeats Natalya one-on-one. RK Bro defeats The Miz and Morrison. Bobby Lashley defeats Finn Balor to retain the WWE Championship. Roman Reigns defeats John Cena to retain the Universal Championship. And in the main event of the evening, the Street Profits win the Raw Tag titles from Retribution in a Hell in a Cell match. We kick off Survivor Series with Finn Balor winning the WWE Championship as he defeats Bobby Lashley. Ain't nobody meaner than Tamina defeats Tegan Nox. Jeff Hardy wins back the United States Championship from Akira Tozawa. The Street Profits retain their tag team championships as they defeat Retribution. In a huge Survivor Series style tag match, Chad Gable, AJ Styles, Shelton Benjamin, and Elias defeat the Dirty Dogs and Tucker and Karrion Kross. Shotzi defeats Natalya. Charlotte Flair defeats Bayley. Brock Lesnar defeats Seth Rollins. Roman Reigns defeats John Cena to retain the Universal Championship. And in the main event of the evening, Becky Lynch, Lacey Evans, Bianca Belair, and Reckoning defeat Shayna Baszler, Naomi, Toni Storm, and Mickie James. Kicking off TLC, Bayley defeats Charlotte Flair. Natalya defeats Shotzi Blackheart. The Street Profits defeat Retribution to retain the Raw tag titles. Jeff Hardy defeats Shelton Benjamin to retain the United States Championship. Sheamus defeats Ricochet. Finn Balor defeats Kevin Owens to retain the WWE Championship. Roman Reigns defeats Jimmy Uso to retain the Universal Championship. Big Jim couldn't get the job done. Brock Lesnar defeats Seth Rollins. And in the main event of the evening, Bobby Lashley defeats Big E in a TLC match. We have made it to the Royal Rumble pay-per-view, and we kick things off with Finn Balor retaining his WWE Championship as he defeats Rey Mysterio. Jeff Hardy retains his United States Championship as he defeats Shelton Benjamin. Tegan Nox finally gets a W over Ain't Nobody Meaner Than Tamina. Asuka has won the Women's Royal Rumble matchup. Sheamus defeated Ricochet. King Nakamura defeated Happy Corbin. Big E defeats Bobby Lashley in a last man standing match. Roman Reigns defeats Jimmy Uso in another match for the Universal title. Seth Rollins defeats Brock Lesnar. And in the main event of the evening, Shinsuke Nakamura has won the Royal Rumble. We kick off Elimination Chamber with Brock Lesnar defeating Seth Rollins. Ain't Nobody Meaner Than Tamina defeats Tegan Nox. Damian Priest defeats Elias. Alexa Bliss defeats Lana. King Nakamura defeats Happy Corbin. Becky Lynch retains her Raw Women's Championship inside of the Elimination Chamber that featured Liv Morgan, Maurice, Lacey Evans, Reckoning, and Dana Brooke. Sheamus defeats Ricochet. Roman Reigns yet again defeats Big Jim for the Universal Championship. Big E defeats Bobby Lashley. And in the main event of the evening, Rey Mysterio wins an Elimination Chamber match against Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, John Cena, Tucker, and R-Truth. We have made it to Fastlane, and the Street Profits have defeated RK Bro. Eric and Ivar defeat Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo. Alexa Bliss defeats Lana. Tamina defeats Tegan Nox. Damian Priest defeats Elias. Asuka defeats Lacey Evans. Finn Balor defeats Bobby Lashley to retain his WWE Championship in a no-holds-barred match. Roman Reigns defeats King Nakamura for the Universal Championship. And Liv Morgan wins the Raw Women's Championship in a no-holds-barred match against Becky Lynch. We kick off NXT Stand and Deliver with Swerve retaining his North American Championship as he defeats Alexander Wolf. Marcel Bartel and Fabian Eichner defeat Legado del Fantasma to retain their NXT tag titles. Jordan Devlin defeats Arya Daivari. Dexter Lumis defeats Cameron Grimes. Haley Ray defeats Mandy Rose. The Brian Kendrick wins the Cruiserweight Championship as he defeats Roderick Strong. Samoa Joe defeats Pete Dunne. Raquel Gonzalez wins the NXT Women's Championship in a no-holds-barred match as she beats Io Shirai. Kushida defeats Kyle O'Reilly. And in the main event of the evening, Walter defeats Timothy Thatcher in a no-holds-barred match to retain the NXT Championship. We have made it to WrestleMania, and Damian Priest has defeated Jeff Hardy to win the United States Championship. Jinder Mahal has won the Intercontinental Championship as he defeats Apollo Crews. Alexa Bliss defeats Lana. Gran Metalik and Lince Dorado defeat Chad Gable and Otis. Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo defeat Eric and Ivar. Carmella defeats Charlotte Flair. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler retain the Women's Tag Championships against Rhea Ripley and Nikki ASH. The Dirty Dogs retain the SmackDown tag titles against the Usos. Asuka defeats Lacey Evans in a steel cage match. The Street Profits defeat RK Bro for the Raw tag titles. Bianca Belair defeats Sasha Banks to retain the Women's Championship over on SmackDown. Finn Balor retains the WWE Championship as he defeats Rey Mysterio. Roman Reigns retains the WWE Universal Championship as he defeats King Nakamura. And in the main event of the evening, Liv Morgan retains the Raw Women's Championship as she defeats Becky Lynch and Maurice in the main event. All right, we made it one full calendar year. We are now at Money in the Bank again, and Rey Mysterio has defeated Finn Balor for the WWE Championship. Nia Jax is your new Miss Money in the Bank in a ladder match that featured Asuka, Alexa Bliss, Dana Brooke, Lana, Billie Kay, Maurice, and Nikki ASH. Tamina defeats Tegan Knox. Reckoning defeats Liv Morgan. The Street Profits defeat RK Bro. Eric and Ivar defeat Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza. Charlotte Flair defeats Carmella. Ricochet is your new Universal Champion as he defeats Roman Reigns. Bobby Lashley defeats Big E, and John Cena has won the Money in the Bank briefcase. In a ladder match that featured Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, King Nakamura, Buddy Murphy, Jinder Mahal, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Jey Uso. Yeet, there were two Nakamuras? We have made it to WrestleMania Backlash, but before we get into that, I have removed NXT from the calendar and added all of the NXT people to Raw and SmackDown as call-ups. How will that change the rest of the sim? Let's find out. We kick off WrestleMania Backlash with Damian Priest defeating Jeff Hardy to retain the United States Championship. Natalya defeats Shotzi. Tegan Knox defeats Tamina. Becky Lynch defeats Maurice to retain the Raw Women's Championship. Jinder Mahal defeats King Nakamura to retain the Intercontinental Championship. Bayley wins the SmackDown Women's Championship from Bianca Belair. Seth Rollins is your new WWE Champion as he defeats Rey Mysterio. Ricochet is still the Universal Champion after defeating Roman Reigns again. Murphy has defeated Sami Zayn. Natalya defeats Shotzi. Roman Reigns wins back the Universal Championship as he knocks off Ricochet. Brock Lesnar becomes the new WWE Champion as he defeats Seth Rollins. And in the main event of the evening, Kushida defeats Jeff Hardy in a Falls Count Anywhere match to retain the United States Championship. At Payback, Charlotte Flair opens the show with a win over Carmella. Swerve defeats Akira Tozawa. Tamina defeats Tegan Knox. I feel like these two are gonna feud forever. Kushida retains the United States Championship as he defeats Jeff Hardy. Mansoor defeats Sami Zayn. The Iconics defeat Rhea Ripley and Nikki ASH. Bayley defeats Sonya Deville for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Seth Rollins wins back the WWE Championship as he defeats Brock Lesnar. And in the main event of the evening, Becky Lynch retains the Raw Women's Championship as she knocks off Candice LeRae in a no-holds-barred match. We kick off Clash of Champions with Sonya Deville winning the SmackDown Women's Championship as she defeats Bayley. Sami Zayn defeats Mansoor. Tegan Knox defeats Tamina. Jeff Hardy wins back the United States Championship as he defeats Kushida. Becky Lynch retains the Raw Women's Championship as she defeats Dana Brooke. Charlotte Flair defeats Carmella. Seth Rollins defeats Kevin Owens to retain the WWE Championship. Roman Reigns defeats Drew McIntyre to retain the Universal Championship. And in the main event of the evening, Swerve defeats Akira Tozawa in a last man standing match. We open up Hell in a Cell with John Cena defeating Drew McIntyre one-on-one. Sonya Deville defeats Bayley to retain the SmackDown Women's Championship. Jeff Hardy defeats Kushida to retain the United States Championship. Jinder Mahal defeats King Nakamura to retain the Intercontinental Championship. Cesaro defeats Sheamus one-on-one. Seth Rollins defeats Kevin Owens in a tables match to retain the WWE Championship. Roman Reigns defeats Ricochet to retain the Universal Championship. Rey Mysterio defeats Bobby Lashley one-on-one. And in the main event of the evening, Becky Lynch defeats Dana Brooke in a Hell in a Cell match to retain her Raw Women's Championship. Kicking off Survivor Series, Damian Priest defeats Braun Strowman. Dana Brooke wins the Raw Women's Championship as she defeats Becky Lynch. Sami Zayn defeats Mansoor. Tegan Nox defeats Tamina. Natalya defeats Shotzi in a Survivor Series elimination tag match. Slapjack and Mace, along with Miz and Morrison, defeat Johnny Gargano, Austin Theory, and the Street Profits. Jeff Hardy retains his United States Championship as he defeats Kushida. Roman Reigns retains the Universal Championship as he knocks off Ricochet. Rey Mysterio is your new WWE Champion as he defeats Seth Rollins. And in the main event of the evening, we have a Women's Survivor Series match where Shayna Baszler, Sonya Deville, Sarray, and Charlotte Flair defeat Billie Kay, Bianca Belair, Lana, and Lacey Evans. At TLC, we open things up with Braun Strowman defeating Damian Priest. Natalya defeats Shotzi. Tegan Nox defeats Tamina. The Usos defeat the New Day. Dexter Lumis is your new United States Champion as he defeats Jeff Hardy. Big E defeats Kevin Owens. Randy Orton and Matt Riddle defeat AJ Styles and Omos. Roman Reigns defeats John Cena to retain the Universal Championship. And in the main event of the evening, in a TLC match, Rey Mysterio retains the WWE Championship as he defeats Seth Rollins. Kicking off the Royal Rumble, Omos and AJ Styles defeat Matt Riddle and Randy Orton in a tag match. Natalya defeats Shotzi. Sami Zayn defeats Buddy Murphy. Alexa Bliss wins the Raw Women's Championship by defeating Dana Brooke. Big E defeats Kevin Owens. Bianca Belair has won the Women's Royal Rumble. Rey Mysterio defeats Seth Rollins in a last man standing match to retain his WWE Championship. The Usos defeat the New Day. John Cena is your new Universal Champion as he defeats Roman Reigns. And in the main event of the evening, Jey Uso has won the Royal Rumble. Yeet! At the Elimination Chamber, Braun Strowman opens things up by defeating Damian Priest. In a fatal four-way match for the Intercontinental Championship, Happy Corbin defeats Nakamura, Jinder Mahal, and Mustafa Ali to become the Intercontinental Champion. Naomi defeats Carmella. In an Elimination Chamber for the United States Championship, Dexter Lumis retains, defeating Slapjack, Kushida, Cameron Grimes, Johnny Gargano, and MVP. Sami Zayn defeats Murphy. Alexa Bliss retains the Raw Women's Championship as she defeats Dana Brooke. The Iconics defeat Nikki ASH and Rhea Ripley. Rey Mysterio retains the WWE Championship as he defeats Seth Rollins. John Cena defeats Roman Reigns to retain the Universal Championship. And in the main event of the evening for the SmackDown Women's Championship, we have an Elimination Chamber that Charlotte Flair wins that also featured Sasha Banks, Sonya Deville, Mickie James, Bayley, and Toni Storm. At Fastlane, Jey Uso loses to John Cena for the Universal Championship. Naomi defeats Carmella. Slapjack is the United States Champion as he knocks off Dexter Lumis. Happy Corbin defeats Drew Gulak to retain the Intercontinental Championship. Dana Brooke wins back the Raw Women's Championship as she knocks off Alexa Bliss. Rhea Ripley and Nikki ASH defeat the Iconics. Damian Priest defeats Braun Strowman. Rey Mysterio defeats Seth Rollins. And in the main event of the evening, Sasha Banks is the new SmackDown Women's Champion as she defeats Charlotte Flair. Kicking off our second WrestleMania of this sim, Bobby Lashley defeats Seth Rollins. Braun Strowman defeats Kevin Owens. Dana Brooke retains her Raw Women's Championship in a tables match against Alexa Bliss. Otis and Chad Gable retain the Raw Tag titles against Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. Happy Corbin retains the Intercontinental Championship against Drew Gulak. Slapjack retains the United States Championship against Damian Priest. Rhea Ripley and Nikki ASH defeat the Iconics. Shotzi defeats Shayna Baszler one-on-one. Ricochet defeats Roman Reigns. Finn Balor defeats Big E in a steel cage match. Sheamus defeats Drew McIntyre. John Cena defeats Jey Uso for the Universal Championship. Sasha Banks defeats Charlotte Flair to retain the SmackDown Women's Championship. And in the main event of the evening, Rey Mysterio defeats Brock Lesnar to retain the WWE Championship. We're entering year 3 of the sim as Shinsuke Nakamura defeats Mansoor on Money in the Bank. Ivar is Mr. Money in the Bank after winning a ladder match that featured Ricochet, Cesaro, Xavier Woods, Tyler Bate, Santos Escobar, Kalisto, and Eric. Happy Corbin defeats Drew Gulak to retain the Intercontinental Championship. Otis and Chad Gable retain the Raw Tag titles against Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. RK Bro defeat the Street Profits. Shayna Baszler defeats Shotzi. The Usos defeat Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza. Finn Balor defeats Big E. Brock Lesnar defeats Bobby Lashley. And in the main event of the evening, Asuka wins the Women's Money in the Bank in a ladder match that featured Maurice, Dakota Kai, Alexa Bliss, Liv Morgan, Reckoning, Io Shirai, and Billie Kay. Kicking off WrestleMania Backlash, John Cena defeats Sheamus to retain the Universal Championship. Happy Corbin defeats Drew Gulak to retain the Intercontinental Championship. Dana Brooke defeats Dakota Kai to retain the Raw Women's Championship. Mansoor defeats Nakamura. Damian Priest wins the United States Championship, knocking off Slapjack. RK Bro defeats the Street Profits. Rey Mysterio retains the WWE Championship as he defeats Seth Rollins. Brock Lesnar defeats Bobby Lashley. And in the main event of the evening, Big E defeats Finn Balor. At the horror show of Extreme Rules, we kick things off with RK Bro defeating the Street Profits. Damian Priest defeats Kushida for the United States Championship. Tamina defeats Tegan Nox, and these two will fight forever. John Cena defeats Sheamus to retain the Universal Championship. Drew Gulak is your new Intercontinental Champion. Sami Zayn defeats Shinsuke Nakamura. Lacey Evans defeats Becky Lynch. Seth Rollins defeats Rey Mysterio to win the WWE Championship. Asuka defeats Candice LeRae to retain the Raw Women's Championship in the main event of the evening. So Asuka apparently cashed in that briefcase. We kick off SummerSlam with Lacey Evans defeating Becky Lynch. Happy Corbin wins back the Intercontinental Championship as he defeats Drew Gulak. Tamina defeats Tegan Nox. Swerve defeats Tucker. Asuka defeats Candice LeRae to retain the Raw Women's Championship. Damian Priest defeats Kushida to retain the United States Championship. Nakamura defeats Sami Zayn. Sheamus is your new Universal Champion, defeating John Cena. Seth Rollins has defeated Rey Mysterio to win the WWE Championship. Brock Lesnar defeats Bobby Lashley in the main event of the evening. At Payback, Roman Reigns defeats Jimmy Uso. Tamina defeats Tegan Nox. Tucker defeats Swerve Scott. Damian Priest defeats Kushida for the United States Championship. Happy Corbin defeats Drew Gulak for the Intercontinental Championship. Big E defeats Kevin Owens. Seth Rollins defeats Rey Mysterio for the WWE Championship. John Cena wins back the Universal Championship, defeating Sheamus. And Asuka defeats Candice LeRae in the main event of the evening for the Raw Women's Championship. Drew Gulak opens up Clash of Champions with a win over Happy Corbin for the Intercontinental Championship. Tucker defeats Swerve. Carmella defeats Charlotte Charlotte Flair. Timothy Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa defeats Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo. Kevin Owens defeats Big E. Seth Rollins defeats Rey Mysterio to retain the WWE Championship. Brock Lesnar defeats Bobby Lashley. Damian Priest defeats Kushida to retain the United States Championship. And in the main event of the evening, John Cena defeats Ivar for the Universal Championship. I'm assuming this is the Money in the Bank cash-in, as it says customized match. I did not do this, so I'm assuming he cashed in. We kick off Hell in a Cell with Seth Rollins retaining the WWE Championship as he defeats Rey Mysterio. Timothy Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa defeat Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza. Tamina defeats Shotzi. Charlotte Flair defeats Carmella. Damian Priest defeats Swerve for the United States Championship. Roman Reigns defeats Big Jim yet again. Bobby Lashley defeats Brock Lesnar. John Cena defeats Drew McIntyre inside of a Hell in a Cell for the Universal Championship. And in the main event of the evening, Big E defeats Kevin Owens in a Hell in a Cell. We kick off Survivor Series with Seth Rollins defeating Rey Mysterio for the WWE Championship. Carmella defeats Toni Storm. Shotzi defeats Tamina. Mustafa Ali defeats Sami Zayn. Becky Lynch defeats Maurice. In a Survivor Series match, Slapjack, T-Bar, and RK Bro defeat Oney Lorcan, Danny Burch, and the Dirty Dogs. Jeff Hardy wins the United States Championship as he defeats Damian Priest. Bobby Lashley defeats Brock Lesnar. John Cena retains the Universal Championship as he defeats Drew McIntyre. And in the main event of the evening, Shayna Baszler, Mickie James, Naomi, and Sonya Deville win a Survivor Series tag match against Billie Kay, Lacey Evans, Lana, and Asuka. We are at TLC and kick things off with Jeff Hardy defeating Damian Priest to retain the United States Championship. Drew Gulak is still your Intercontinental Champion as he defeats Happy Corbin. Mansoor defeats Cedric Alexander. Becky Lynch defeats Maurice. Sami Zayn defeats Mustafa Ali. Carmella defeats Toni Storm. John Cena defeats Drew McIntyre for the Universal Championship. Rey Mysterio defeats Seth Rollins in a tables match to win the WWE Championship. And in the main event of the evening, Big E defeats Fiend Balor in a TLC match. Kicking off the Royal Rumble, A-Kid defeats Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley then goes on to win the Royal Rumble matchup. Drew Gulak retains his Intercontinental Championship over Happy Corbin. Cedric Alexander defeats Mansoor. Finn Balor defeats Big E in a Last Man Standing match. Sasha Banks defeats Sonya Deville in a SmackDown Women's Championship match. Becky Lynch defeats Maurice. Ricochet defeats Roman Reigns. Drew McIntyre wins the WWE Universal Championship as he defeats John Cena in a ladder match. And Natalya wins the Women's Royal Rumble. We kick off the Elimination Chamber with Omos and AJ Styles defeating RK Bro. Drew Gulak retains the Intercontinental Championship again over Happy Corbin. Sasha Banks retains the SmackDown Women's Championship over Sonya Deville. In an Elimination Chamber match for the Raw Women's Championship, Becky Lynch wins the title in a match that also featured Lacey Evans, Asuka, Alexa Bliss, Bianca Belair, and Candice LeRae. Roman Reigns defeats Ricochet. Bobby Lashley defeats A-Kid. Drew McIntyre retains the Universal Championship in a tables match against John Cena. Finn Balor defeats Big E. Brock Lesnar defeats Seth Rollins. And in the main event of the evening, Kevin Owens wins an Elimination Chamber matchup against Rey Mysterio, Akira Tozawa, Cesaro, Sheamus, and Shinsuke Nakamura. We have made it to Fastlane with Roman Reigns kicking the show off with a win over Ricochet. Drew Gulak retains the Intercontinental Championship, defeating Happy Corbin. Billie Kay defeats Tegan Nox. RK Bro defeats AJ Styles and Omos. Sasha Banks defeats Sonya Deville for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Drew McIntyre defeats Xavier Woods in a no-holds-barred match for the Universal Championship. Bobby Lashley is yet again your WWE Champion as he defeats Rey Mysterio. Brock Lesnar defeats Seth. Becky Lynch defeats Asuka in the main event of the evening for the Raw Women's Championship inside of a no-holds-barred match. We have arrived at our third WrestleMania of this sim with Brock Lesnar picking up a win over Seth Rollins to kick off the show. Carmella defeats Bayley. Billie Kay defeats Tegan Nox. Damian Priest defeats Elias. Jeff Hardy retains the United States Championship in a win over Mansoor. Braun Strowman defeats R-Truth. Cesaro defeats Sheamus. Kevin Owens defeats Big E. Drew Gulak defeats Nakamura to retain the Intercontinental Championship. Omos and AJ Styles defeat RK Bro. Natalya wins the SmackDown's Women's Championship in a win over Sasha Banks. Finn Balor defeats Bobby Lashley to win the WWE Championship. Drew McIntyre defeats Roman Reigns to retain the Universal Championship. And in the main event of the evening, Bianca Belair wins the Raw Women's Championship as she defeats Becky Lynch and Lacey Evans. We kick off our final year of this sim at Money in the Bank with Drew McIntyre defeating Samoa Joe to retain the Universal Championship. Angel Garza is Mr. Money in the Bank as he defeats Xavier Woods, Ricochet, Sheamus, Mustafa Ali, Shinsuke Nakamura, Raul Mendoza, and Jey Uso. Damian Priest defeats Elias. Big E defeats Kevin Owens. Becky Lynch defeats Lacey Evans. Bayley defeats Carmella. Cesaro defeats Roman Reigns. Bobby Lashley defeats Rey Mysterio. Brock Lesnar wins back the WWE Championship as he defeats Finn Balor. And in the main event of the evening, Maryse is Mrs. Money in the Bank in a ladder match that featured Alexa Bliss, Candice LeRae, Lana, Dana Brooke, Asuka, Peyton Royce, and Nia Jax. Kevin Owens at WrestleMania Backlash defeats Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship to kick things off. Damian Priest defeats Elias. Sami Zayn defeats Kalisto. Drew Gulak defeats Jinder Mahal to retain the Intercontinental Championship. Bayley defeats Carmella. Becky Lynch defeats Lacey Evans. Rey Mysterio defeats Bobby Lashley. Samoa Joe is the new Universal Champion as he defeats Drew McIntyre. And in the main event of the evening, Big E defeats Seth Rollins. We have arrived at the horror show at Extreme Rules, and Chad Gable and Otis defeat RK Bro. Sami Zayn defeats Kalisto. Tamina defeats Tegan Nox. They have had this match at least once every year of this sim. Jinder Mahal is your new Intercontinental Champion as he defeats Drew Gulak. Damian Priest defeats Elias. Kevin Owens retains the WWE Championship as he defeats Brock Lesnar. Seth Rollins defeats Big E. Drew McIntyre wins back the Universal Championship from Samoa Joe. And in the main event of the evening, Bianca Belair retains the Raw Women's Championship against Becky Lynch in an Extreme Rules match. We've made it to SummerSlam with Big E defeating Seth Rollins in the opening contest. Damian Priest defeats Elias. Tegan Nox defeats Tamina. Jinder Mahal defeats Drew Gulak for the Intercontinental Championship. Carmella defeats Bayley. Chad Gable and Otis defeat RK Bro to retain the Raw Tag Titles. Mansoor is your new United States Champion as he defeats Jeff Hardy. Brock Lesnar is the WWE Champion again as he defeats Kevin Owens. Samoa Joe wins back the Universal Championship from Drew McIntyre. And in the main event of the evening, Becky Lynch wins back the Raw Women's Championship in a Falls Count Anywhere match against Bianca Belair. It's a Payback where Mansoor defends the United States Championship against Alexander Wolf in the opening contest. Shotzi defeats Peyton Royce. Shinsuke Nakamura defeats Sami Zayn. Becky Lynch retains the Raw Women's Championship with a win over Reckoning. Jeff Hardy defeats Kushida. Bayley defeats Carmella. Bobby Lashley defeats Big E. Natalya defeats Charlotte Flair to retain the SmackDown Women's Championship. Maryse defeats Becky Lynch in what I'm assuming is a cash-in for the Raw Women's Championship in our main event. We kick off Clash of Champions with Ricochet defeating Roman Reigns. Shotzi defeats Peyton Royce. Mustafa Ali is your new Intercontinental Champion as he defeats Jinder Mahal. Jeff Hardy defeats Kushida. Chad Gable and Otis defeat The Miz and John Morrison to retain the Raw Tag Titles. Shinsuke Nakamura defeats Sami Zayn. Bobby Lashley defeats Big E. Brock Lesnar defeats Finn Balor for the WWE Championship. And in the main event of the evening, in a last man standing match, Mansoor defends the United States Championship against Alexander Wolf with a win. We kick off Hell in a Cell with a Universal Championship match with Samoa Joe retaining his title against Cesaro. Jinder Mahal defeats Mustafa Ali to win the Intercontinental Championship. Tucker defeats Swerve Scott. Shinsuke Nakamura defeats Sami Zayn. Peyton Royce defeats Shotzi. Mansoor defeats Damian Priest to retain the United States Championship. Roman Reigns defeats Ricochet. Brock Lesnar defeats Finn Balor to retain the WWE Championship. And in the main event of the evening, Jeff Hardy defeats Kushida in a Hell in a Cell match. Kicking off Survivor Series, Carmella defeats Mickie James one-on-one. Jinder Mahal retains the Intercontinental Championship as he defeats Mustafa Ali. Tucker defeats Isaiah Swerve Scott. Tegan Knox defeats Billie Kay. We have a Survivor Series tag match where the Dirty Dogs and The Miz and Morrison defeat Retribution as well as The Way. Maurice retains the Raw Women's Championship with a win over Liv Morgan. Mansoor defeats Damian Priest with a win for the United States Championship. Brock Lesnar retains the WWE Championship with a win over Finn Balor. Sheamus is your new Universal Champion with a win over Samoa Joe. And in the main event of the evening, Peyton Royce, Bianca Belair, Io Shirai, and Becky Lynch win a Survivor Series match against Shayna Baszler, Raquel Gonzalez, Sonya Deville, and Sasha Banks. Kicking off TLC, Damian Priest has defeated Mansoor to win the United States Championship. Mickie James defeats Carmella. Billie Kay defeats Tegan Knox. Samoa Joe wins back the Universal Championship from Sheamus. Maurice defeats Liv Morgan for the Raw Women's Championship. The Street Profits defeat RK Bro. Bobby Lashley wins back the WWE Championship from Brock Lesnar. John Cena defeats Roman Reigns. And in the main event of the evening, Big E defeats Seth Rollins in a TLC match. Kicking off the Royal Rumble, the Street Profits defeat RK Bro. Mickie James defeats Carmella. Maurice retains the Raw Women's Championship against Liv Morgan. Kalisto defeats Mansoor. Samoa Joe retains the Universal Championship with a win over Sheamus. Shinsuke Nakamura wins the Royal Rumble. Big E defeats Seth Rollins in a last man standing match. Roman Reigns defeats John Cena. Bobby Lashley retains the WWE Championship with a win over Brock Lesnar. And in the main event of the evening, Bayley wins the Women's Royal Rumble. Kicking off Elimination Chamber, the New Day defeat the Usos. Natalya wins a Women's Elimination Chamber match for the SmackDown Women's title that also featured Charlotte Flair, Mickie James, Naomi, Carmella, and Toni Storm. Maurice is still the Raw Women's Champion with a win over Liv Morgan. Kalisto defeats Mansoor. Damian Priest defeats Alexander Wolf for the United States Championship. Jinder Mahal defeats Nakamura for the Intercontinental Championship. Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins defeat the Street Profits. The Street Profits defeat RK Bro. Roman Reigns defeats Cesaro. Bobby Lashley defeats Brock Lesnar in a steel cage match to retain the WWE Championship. And in the main event of the evening, John Cena is your new Universal Champion as he wins an Elimination Chamber match that featured Samoa Joe, Drew McIntyre, Pete Dunne, Sheamus, and Ricochet. We kick off Fastlane with Reckoning defeating Becky Lynch. Charlotte Flair defeats Carmella. Damian Priest defeats Alexander Wolf to retain the United States Championship. The Usos defeat the New Day. Jinder Mahal retains the Intercontinental Championship. Kevin Owens defeats Seth Rollins. Brock Lesnar wins back the WWE Championship. Roman Reigns wins back the Universal Championship as he defeats John Cena in a no-holds-barred match. And in the main event of the evening, Maurice retains the Raw Women's Championship against Io Shirai. On our last WrestleMania of this sim, we kick things off with Roman Reigns defeating Sheamus to retain the Universal Championship. Natalya retains the SmackDown's Raw's Women's Championship as she defeats Bayley. Chad Gable and Otis retain the Raw Tag titles as they defeat The Miz and John Morrison. Billie Kay defeats Tegan Nox. Damian Priest defeats Alexander Wolf to retain the United States Championship in a steel cage match. Cesaro defeats Ricochet. Carmella defeats Charlotte Flair. Jinder Mahal defeats Shinsuke Nakamura in a Intercontinental Championship match. Big E defeats Finn Balor. Becky Lynch defeats Reckoning. Kevin Owens defeats Seth Rollins. John Cena defeats Drew McIntyre. Brock Lesnar retains the WWE Championship as he defeats Bobby Lashley. And in the main event of the evening, Asuka wins the Raw Women's Championship in a triple threat match against Io Shirai and Maurice. So our ending champions are as follows. Brock Lesnar is your WWE Champion. Damian Priest is your United States Champion. Chad Gable and Otis are your Raw Tag Champions. Asuka is your Raw Women's Champion. And Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler are your Women's Tag Team Champions. Meanwhile, on SmackDown, Roman Reigns is your Universal Champion. Jinder Mahal is your Intercontinental Champion. The Dirty Dogs are your SmackDown Tag Champions. And Natalya is your SmackDown Women's Champion. What a crazy 4 years in the WWE. Comment down below with what the craziest moment was to you. For me, it was Xavier Woods winning the Universal Championship. But as always and forever, take it easy though, y'all. Peace.